I'd like to bring this Committee of the Whole meeting to order, November 24th, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. First order of business, I'm going to just remind all councillors and staff to turn their mics on when they're speaking and speak into their microphones, as we have Councillor Martin is online and we are recording, and if we don't turn our mics on and we don't speak into the mics, the people at home can't hear what important words that we're saying. So we have Councillor Martin on virtually, and Councillor Shine sends her regrets. First order of business is to call the meeting to order. Second, disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. It can be declared now or any time during the meeting. And we have a delegation today. Angela Jones is going to speak on property tax and strong mayor's powers. So Angela, the microphone's yours.
Good afternoon, Mayor Ferguson and Council. I would like to address the issue regarding deferring a raise in our taxes. If you check other towns and cities, you will see that ones that have done this have had significant tax increases as hit with after. Let's see here. We need to be realistic on the raise of the taxes. Of course, we have to cover what we need to cover, but I'm worried that by going ahead and not raising the taxes enough will cause, or deferring them, will cause more issues in the upcoming years. I also don't want to see us dipping into the contingency fund. That's kind of a rainy day kind of item, so that we can deal with plans in the future if there's overages and projects and whatnot. I moved to Atikokan and because I saw this town was very fiscally run, and that really impressed me. But it deeply concerns me that there has been talk about the strong mayor powers. And I saw in London the same problem with the strong mayor powers, and I didn't feel it was a very democratic way of handling things. I hope this isn't the case, and how it affects our town and the people who live here is taken into proper consideration.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Angela? Okay. Yes, Councillor Stump.
I kind of agree with you on the fact where you said you have a small increase in 1 year and there's a good chance you'll have a bigger one next year. I remember Mary Makarenko told me years ago that when she was on council, they had a 0% increase. And the next year, I think she said they had to go 6%. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you may have a good year, but you may end up paying for it next year. I agree with you on that. Maybe can't tell low, but.
Yeah, I'd be very nervous to see that happen again. It's once tried, I don't want to see it happen.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, we will go to Committee of the Whole reports. And the first report is CAO update, report to council for November. CAO Young.
Okay, so included in your package is the update for November from the various departments throughout the corporation. One addition to add, Councillor Stimson had asked for updated numbers regarding a couple of the contracts we have. I do have those updated numbers. The current revenue received so far from the acceptance of the Vallard sewage from the Waasigan project to date is $139,172.97. The second question was regarding the totals for the soil remediation project with Senexen. We don't have we only have numbers up to November 14th, and as of that date, revenues total $282,601.60. The remainder of, the rest of the update is there, and happy to answer any questions, or you can feel free to direct questions to the appropriate department head.
Counselor Stimson.
I just want to say thank you for adding that to CAO Young.
Yeah, no problem.
Counselor Lyons.
Through the chair, thank you, CAO Young. I really do appreciate these monthly updates. Two questions, if I may. The first one under bylaw. As we enter the budget season, will we be looking at securing a dedicated bylaw position, whether it be full-time or seasonal hire or a contract position in the coming year?
Great question, thank you. So with some succession planning and upcoming retirements, we're not exactly sure how we're going to fill the position. So we do have a bunch of key positions that are or will become vacant. And then depending on the pool of candidates, we're trying to remain quite open and flexible as to how that may be. The short answer to your question is yes, we certainly want to see increased resources in bylaw.
Okay. And if I may, the second question is, could you provide us a bit of a status update on the commitments we made to the community earlier this year, those being the accessible washroom and the splash pad projects?
Yep, so we have, obviously you're part of the ad hoc committee, some discussions and some preliminary conversations. We have since kind of delegated the responsibility of kind of trying to find provincial and federal funding to help fund those projects. And we are looking to our new contract community services coordinator. And she is actively trying to find probably like a phase one sort of application. And hoping to meet, I think, and Mayor Ferguson might be able to speak more to this, meet with the ad hoc committee and secure that funding over the winter in the plans, with still the intent of hopefully having construction in 2026.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just a little further on that. So I did meet with the new community services person, and that was when we discussed things. She asked me my priorities, and I told her that was my number one priority. And so she is working on part one. She said it's called part one, not phase. I called it phase one, but it's part one. So she's been working with NOHFC, and she also reached out to FedNor. It doesn't look like the two are compatible on this certain project. So she is exploring the route with NOHFC. And then she is going to come in the new year, and we're going to have a session of council to discuss the second part of the grant, or I guess, yeah, the second phase of our project. And that'll be, we had a meeting with the ad hoc committee, and we discussed a lot of possibilities, but it's not up to the ad hoc committee to pick those possibilities. So it will go to council, and it'll be a consensus-based idea on where we're going to put that money forward. But the new community services person was very, very optimistic on moving forward on the first one, and then moving forward on the second one as well. So that's where we're at on that. Yes, and we're confident to have both these projects going next summer for sure.
Great, thank you.
Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. A couple of questions, Jason, if I may. On the Bryan Street project, will this contractor be doing the Burn Street contract next year? Was that part of this contract awarded?
No, so we did do a tender for Burns, Mackenzie, and Gorey. The price came in too high. We had one bidder, and we chose not to award that tender this year. We will be looking at it again next year, but it'll be separate from the P&I O'Brien Street project, correct?
Okay. The Mud Lake culvert, again, I guess this would go to Tyler. What branch of the government is holding up this project?
Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, I think is their current name.
And have they given a reason why they're not giving you an answer or?
No, we've got nothing.
So Tyler, this has been put off, this is our second year that they're being foolish. How much has the pipe price raised from the date that it was supposed to start till next year now?
We actually already have the pipe and the sheet piling on site. Now it will just be a matter of the different price in labor, which we won't know until we get that work permit approved.
Okay, thank you for that. And one more question, if I may. The kaolin soils, it says there significant staff time for sampling. Is it their staff or our staff that's doing the sampling?
It's us going through the sample results as well as ensuring compliance on our end as well, miscellaneous samples and things like that.
So that's a cost to the town then? eh?
Yes.
Okay.
But they're doing the bulk of the sampling. It's just our engineers on our side reviewing that and working with them. The actual
we
sampling
also-
is done by them.
We take samples as well, or are planning to, based off of our environmental control procedures that we have in place.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councillor Stimson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. This is for Tyler too, I guess. One of the truckers was saying that there's days that hauling that stuff they can't haul because the samples haven't come back. And is that because, it was insinuated that's because we're asking for too many samples, and I said I don't think so, but is there any way that things can be done to get it so that they can haul every day of the week and not have to send the guys home on a Thursday afternoon and Friday?
Those would be their own operational constraints. We have a certain amount of samples that are required to make sure that we're properly categorizing that material before we accept it.
Okay, all right, thank you. And one for CEO Young, if I may. And you know, you're probably gonna. I'm beating the horse here every time. The demolitions of those two burnt houses. You know, that one there. Every time I take my dog for a walk, I walk by that one on Star Street, and I think, my God, you know, it's got to come down this year. Is it going to come down this year?
We certainly understand it's top of mind for council, and Chief Warburton is actively working. They're not owned by the town. There's a process, and if Chief Warburton wants to speak to it.
I can speak to it. Very little's changed since the last time you asked, and that is that there was some utilities infrastructure in the ground that has now been removed, and the contractor is under contract with the owner to knock it down. It will be down this year, as I said last time you asked.
Awesome. Thank you. I just keep checking up on it because it's getting later in the year. Thank you. Thank you, Chief Warburton and CAO Young.
Yes, Councillor Knowles.
Thank you very much. Just a quick comment. I'm very happy to hear that community services person's in place and that they're coming with a lot of experience. I know Linda will do a great job with that portfolio, and I'm happy as a member of that ad hoc committee to have a meeting before the end of the year to meet with Linda now that she's settled into her role, and with CAO and yourself as well, and see where we can get moving before the end of the year. So happy to have that meeting sooner than later. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. See any questions? Just on the CAO's office, Roma delegations, and it says strong mayor's tools, strong mayor's powers. I'd just like you to, if you could elaborate on that I'm not looking for more strong mayor's powers or strong mayor's tools. I just want to make sure people understand that.
Certainly. So when we look at delegation requests, obviously we wait to hear back from council, and then hearing if we get anything, and otherwise we have conversations to say, what do we want moving forward? We felt it was, and delegations are not only for the item themselves, but it's that FaceTime with the minister. So we do try and request those delegations so we do have that time with the ministers to speak on various topics. With the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, obviously, right now we're having conversations obviously with the delegation today regarding strong mayor powers. So we thought it'd be a good opportunity to sit down with the minister and just have further discussions what that looks like. Again, the powers for the small municipalities is quite new to the municipalities of our size. And with the election coming up, just an opportunity to have discussions and get clarifications on things. So this was me. This was not on the mayor's request, but felt it was a good opportunity to put in that delegation request.
Thanks, Jason. Yes, Councillor Lyons.
Thank you. Just another quick question regarding some of this new legislation and funding that's coming down for advancing housing projects. And I'm wondering what steps administration's made so far in order to take advantage of those opportunities.
So is there a specific grant you're talking about, or just in general?
No, just in general.
Sure. And again, I think we've had these conversations in this room before. The challenge becomes is making sure we have the project, we have our portion of the funds, and then find funding that matches it. Right now, over the last several years, most of our money has been allocated to large projects. I'm hopeful. I believe that we're getting pretty close to a point where it will be exactly that, is getting those project ready, shovel ready, and having our portion of those funding, and then go out and search that funding. So we've got a multitude of projects. I mean, I could, off the top of Tyler's head, I'm sure he can give you 4 or 5 right now. It's a matter of timing, right? So right now our focus obviously is the Mackenzie Bridge. And then past that, certainly we'll have discussions with council.
Yeah, I was thinking specifically in housing development, and I was wondering if when you were talking about the various delegations, if there was going to be any conversation regarding that as well, about maybe if the province could ante up some of the funds in order to support small municipalities in doing so.
Exactly, and that's our delegation to infrastructure.
Yep.
So our push, and we've done this on other delegations, is requesting a different funding model, similar to the ISIP resurfacing grant we received based on population. And we believe to replace a bridge, whether it be Thunder Bay, Fort Frances, or Atikokan, costs the same, but we don't have the same tax base. So our request is simply that, is to say a funding model to look at smaller municipalities and a lesser contribution. Exactly what we're doing, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Maybe I can speak to Sarah's question, is on the housing, and we all know that Atikokan needs housing, and there is possibly some opportunities. It's hard to go to the government and say, we want some money for housing. And you have to have a proponent, you have to have a plan, you have to have somebody that's going to step up. And we're going to support it, and whether it's through infrastructure or however it works, but we need to go to the ministers or ministries and say, we have a developer that wants to build a 40-unit apartment building in this area, but we need $1 million for sewer and water. And then that way they can envision it and they can see what's going to happen. But we just can't go to the ministry and say, we want $1 million to help people build houses. So we're trying to get that proponent, and I've got something in the next meeting that I just like to discuss a little bit. But yeah, we need to do something, and we need to show that we are doing something before we can ask the province or the feds to step up with some additional housing. So those things are hopefully come to fruition in the next few months, actually. But until then, we can't really petition the government. We can petition the government for a policy to help small communities, but we can't petition the government for Atikokan specifically.
Certainly, and I can certainly appreciate that. From our end, are there any anticipated plans to start moving on, say, updating our official plan and the zoning bylaw to support those in order to better prepare us as a community for that ask?
Yep. Yes, the official plan has been long under review. We were very close to bring that forward, and then the government has updated the provincial policy statement, not only once, but I think
3 times.
3 times, exactly. So it's been a challenge to try and keep up to that. And I'm hoping that we're not too far gone from the work that we've already done to be able to kind of get back up to speed. I absolutely agree with you with the zoning update. We have a lot of challenges with our zoning bylaw. It is a bit dated. It's a big undertaking, and we certainly do. It is kind of one of those projects that we're we're trying to get back to, and I think there's real value in that. But it's not inhibiting progress. I mean, we're still working on, as the mayor said, certain projects, and Tyler's got his list of infrastructure that we want to do. So we're still moving forward with that. But point well taken, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, Councillor Knowles.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Couple of questions. Is the aim of delegations at Roma and AMO to look at things not from a rural versus urban divide, but more in a northern lens? One of the biggest challenges is that we're not part of a tiered municipality system, so we don't have a dual set of funds coming in that look at the areas that are surrounding to provide those services. So when those delegations are made, are we looking at things, whether it's through NOMA or FNOM, to do it in a lens of maybe going through the Ministry of Northern Development instead of through infrastructure housing, in order to make those changes, just because of our situation being so unique?
Yeah, I think that exactly. I agree, Councillor Knowles. As you know, NOMA represents 37 municipalities, single-tier northern municipalities, and that's always the message connected to any delegation request is, we need to be treated different than Southern Ontario. And then with our own delegation request for the municipality, we try and make that very clear as well. Agreed, yeah.
Thank you. And I guess my other question would be, on the, I'm not sure where you are as far as developing of the budget. I do have some concerns about being able to do any sort of service work or upgrades to infrastructure in order to make housing available in light of these funds that are coming through both levels of government moving forward, if we are sticking to a 2% tax increase. But I'm interested to know when we would get the first peek at a draft budget that falls within those confines, in order to determine what sort of things that are possible to do, because the money that is going to be available through both levels is really going to be once in a generation. And I feel like if we don't have those things in place, where we don't have our property shovel ready and the ability to drop a house down, that we may never see this opportunity to get access to this funds again. So just more of a cautious optimism, I guess, at this point.
Sure. So a two-part answer. The budget itself, we are looking at, so administration is drafting the preliminary budget. It'll be presented to the mayor with further discussions, with the intent to bring it to council mid-January, I think is a safe assumption, and then allow council an opportunity to go through it as well. To your question regarding being ready, the challenge again with that is, we always talk about, are we ready for something that we hope is to come, right? So invest in those developments, but there's also still infrastructure, in those neighborhoods that are currently fully occupied and being used, that we certainly have to look at as well. So it's a fine line between those two spots. And then I guess the third answer is that ideally, with additional revenue streams coming in, that we will have sort of I would say call it slush fund, but reserves set aside, that if we are able to apply for some of these projects, that we do have some of our portions set aside. As I had said earlier, not only finding the money, then trying to find ours, but having the money and the plan ready, and then going after those funding dollars.
And just to follow up on that, Councillor Knowles, is about the small communities. When we go to AMO or Roma, we play that small community card a lot. And we're getting that message through to the ministers that we speak with, that we are a small community, and there's different levels. We got other municipalities that are interested in that. We can go 5,000 population, and there's other communities that want to make a 10,000 population. We've had Thunder Bay that wanted to join in and make communities under 100,000 people. So what's deemed to be a small community for us is, people in the GTA might see Thunder Bay as a smaller community. So, but we do play that card a lot, and we have got some traction on that. We've had discussions on that, and we are getting that message through. But that's the thing about going kind of again and again, is to keep pounding that message that, we are, I always play we are the remote a remote northern community here, and we need everything that we can get, even though I spent my first 50 years of my life saying we don't live up north, we live in northwestern Ontario, but now I play the us people up north card, so. And as far as having projects, we can, it's hard to identify, like Jason said, a shovel-ready project when that project, something new might come along while we're getting that ready. If you can understand, if just for an instance that we were talking about being shovel-ready on that vacant property on O'Brien, and then someone comes along and says, well, I want to do something on Mackenzie. And then as Jason said, we've got streets that need to be repaired and things like that. So it's hard to put money into being shovel-ready when we don't really know what we're being shovel-ready for right now. If that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask.
It does. At the same time, if we're not shovel-ready, then the shovels will just never come. I think it's imperative that we work with our partners to identify, either at this table or at the Economic Development Office, to identify those properties that are most likely to be shovel-ready, to reach out to our investors and our potential investors to say where are places that are and where are the shortcomings and why aren't you investing today, so that we can make those shovel-ready investments and that we're not just kind of throwing darts at the dartboard and hoping that it's a piece of land that somebody may want down the future, that is very strategic, and that it makes sense with our official plan, and that it makes sense of where we want to grow things, and to make sure that it falls within that, so that we can make those investments, so that investors are looking at it and that it's ready for them, because that is the biggest single hurdle to them making that investment, is making sure the infrastructure is ready to go underneath it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Councillor Knowles. Councillor Martin, did you have something to say?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes? No? Maybe? Okay. Okay, to Councillor Johnson, regarding he mentioned the Mud Lake culvert. I just wondered, so apparently there's materials on site. Seems like this has been going on for 2 or 3 years or whatever. Tyler, have they been paid like a mobilization, the invoice for mobilization of some materials there? And I'm just wondering if we should really maybe think about retendering the project, or really putting the screws to the M&R and saying, hey, if this culvert fails and we got all kinds of damage downstream from that culvert failure, like who's going to be on the hook here, right? So that's question number one. I'll give a chance to respond.
Yeah, so we have paid for the materials that are on site after they were delivered, not necessarily mobilization, because there wasn't any equipment or manpower behind it, right? They just brought them up as they were working on Pine Crescent. So we did pay off those materials to get the work done. And I appreciate the frustration. This project has actually been going on for longer than I've been at the municipality. So it would be nice to get it done off the books for sure.
Okay, thank you. And to Councillor Stimpson's comments about the Waasigan sewage, and this is probably you again, Tyler. Like when we get that money, does that put an added strain on our sewage treatment plant, or does that go straight up the hill to Steep Rock, the Steep Rock site?
No, it gets run through the plant to make sure that everything gets processed accordingly. So yeah, our volumes are going up a bit, but we made sure to account for that in the rates that we're charging for taking that in. So.
Okay, and one last question. CAO Young, is the ski hill ready to go?
So the ski hill, great question. So we are actually in the midst of contacting our the ski mechanic, I guess he is. We operate under a master license from a gentleman in Dryden, so we're having conversations with him. Our local employee is also getting their certificates updated. We are doing maintenance work out there. Our community services coordinator is having conversations with the volunteer group. They're looking at getting staffing ready. So we are absolutely in the process of getting everything in place for when the snow comes.
So there, one more thing then. So the groomer for the hill has been serviced and ready to go, and the generator's ready to go for power.
They're in the process right now of doing the maintenance and all of that. Yep.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Yep.
Thank you, Councillor. And as far as the Ballard sewage, I think when I was out there a month or 6 weeks ago, there was 140 people staying there. So if our sewage treatment plant can't handle an additional 140 people, then we're in trouble. So it's going well, what's happening out there. They said it was going to be more, but I don't think they're up to that level yet, but it is coming regularly. Okay, any more questions? Okay, great questions. And we'll move forward to number 2, voting method for the 2026 municipal and school board elections. Clerk Bates.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. The 2026 municipal election is coming up next year, obviously. We have some legislation requirements that need to be done, so I'm asking council's permission if we can do alternate voting again this year or for next year. As I said in my recommendation, it's to authorize alternate voting methods, which could be vote by mail, telephone voting, and or internet voting. I'm not asking to use vote by mail. It's just an umbrella of alternate voting method. What we are looking at is probably doing telephone voting again and internet voting. So I'm also asking for permission if we can do this for future elections, so I don't have to keep coming to council and asking for permission to do this. If anyone has any questions.
Any questions, comments for the clerk?
Good idea.
And Clerk Bates, we will have, I think I read somewhere, we will have a station here for people that need assistance
Yes.
in that voting?
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. So, Madam Clerk, that's different. Will there be still ballot voting?
No.
Okay.
So, yes and no. So technically, it'll be on your screen, right? Like if you're doing internet voting, just like the last time, you will have a ballot that you can choose who you're going to be voting for. Telephone, if we do decide telephone, it'll just be, they'll be naming who you'd be voting for. Does that make sense? So you will have a ballot kind of thing. You'll get your voter information card in the mail. You'll have a PIN number. You log on, and then it'll show you who you would be voting for, and then you choose who you would be voting for.
So, but if somebody who's totally ignorant to computers like I am, you can still come down to the hall and get help.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And did I think I read somewhere where there may be early voting at Town Hall as well?
Yeah, we can look at doing a couple days here rather than just on voting day, but yeah, absolutely.
Give some people the option, great. Okay, so what are you looking for, Clerk Bates?
Permission, and if you guys are in agreement, we'll bring a bylaw forward.
I think we're good with that.
Thank you.
Okay. Great, thank you. And that brings to conclusion the the committee of the whole meeting for today, so. We'll take a 5-minute break. We'll come back at 5:10, and we will start the second portion. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.